This is Dinking Around. I'm your host, Brant Weiss, with my darling co-host, Charles Darling. Today, we are here with Monica Piekarski. I remember that by thinking of a pie, getting in a car, going skiing.
That's perfect.
Moving forward.
That's awesome.
Monica, she's a player in the Arizona Pickleball League. She played for the Scottsdale Scorchers.
Champion.
She is also a part-time flight attendant, a part-time player.
Champion.
On the courts, obviously. I don't know about her personal life. Anyways, Monica, I'm excited to have you on. Charles, would you like to add anything? That might have been my best intro.
That was
my best intro.
And I like how you had to use things to get the name right. I'm excited to have another champion in the room, finally. So it's nice to have another champion here, someone that's won something. It's nice to have another winner here in the room. It was awesome to watch her play. We're going to get into that.
I won a MAC championship in college. Have you won a championship?
Yes. What's a MAC championship? All right,
Okay. That's another podcast moving forward.
All right. So, excited about our guest today. Loved watching her play. So
Thank you.
Yeah, Monica, honestly, I'm super excited to have you on. I just want to kind of hear more about your background and exactly how you got into pickleball.
Okay. So I guess I'll start kind of far off from when I started playing, but in 2019, I actually had multiple organ failure in March. Yeah, so I had liver and kidney failure. So I was in an induced coma for about a month. And when I woke up, they didn't know exactly who I was going to be when I woke up. So luckily I had zero cognitive problems, but physically I, couldn't even lift myself out of the bed. So for basically all of 2019, I did all physical therapy, a lot of just, trying to basically gain enough strength to even just go back to work as being a flight attendant. So when March of 2020 rolled around, lovely COVID decided to come and completely change the landscape of my job. And I used to be an avid hiker. So my whole goal was I want to be able to hike again. That's all I was trying to do. But March of 2020, everything shut down. Hiked my first, small little hill, and I was so excited. And then kind of one of those things, I realized I don't think I can do this to the capacity I was doing it before. So that was kind of heartbreaking. And the world was kind of in chaos, and I didn't know if I was going to still have my job, if I wasn't still going to have my job. So I was mentally not okay. It was not a good time.
Well, the amount of flights that got cut during COVID,
it was
that had to be such a stressful
not
time.
a good time. Yeah. Luckily, I live with my sister, and she got furloughed from her work as well. So me and her were spending most of our days drinking in the pool and not being very productive. And exactly, right? So my mom actually played pickleball, and she basically threw a sparkly backpack at us, and she was like, you two need to go do something other than this. So we went to the public Tempe courts. I'm pretty sure we're hitting an indoor ball with Amazon paddles, and
doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. And I kind of fell in love. So my cousin, my sister, and her partner, us four played every single day until the court shut down. And then I went to Costco, bought myself a badminton net, put that in my backyard, and I would make my sister dink with me. Then we would jump in the pool, dink some more, jump in the pool. So that's what I did basically most of 2020. So
I think I gained 40 pounds in 2020. Yeah. I wish I had found pickleball then, and it would have been a much better hobby for me.
Yeah.
We asked that question of every guest. Tell us when you first got started. That was the best that I've heard. Yeah.
Oh, that's the most wild thing.
From organ failure to shutdown of the job. It wasn't some flights. It was all of them, right? Yeah. It was literally it was bad. And then finding pickleball after going through what you went through probably saved you mentally. Who knows? Yeah. It's hard to say, but that's challenging in and of itself. The organ failure, all of the medical stuff I'm sure that you went through. We could spend an episode on that.
Yeah. How long was the recovery until you kind of felt like yourself again?
So I was able to go back to work, I think, June. I got cleared to go, be a flight attendant again, but I was not the same probably the whole year. I just, tried to walk, would get fatigued. My muscles just couldn't they just weren't there. Like, you never would have thought, you feel lazy when you lay on the couch for a night. And you're like, oh, man. And then next day you kind of feel sore. I was laying in a bed for a month, like not moving at all. So I lost basically all of my muscle mass. So I was like a little string bean and couldn't do much. Yeah.
Wow. Is it something that you think still kind of affects you? Like, do you think you're back to yourself before that, or?
I can confidently say right now I am. But when I was trying to play tournaments last year, I could feel and I saw how much I thought I was an athlete, but still wasn't really fully an athlete enough to be competing at the level that I want to be competing at.
Yeah, and you didn't play racket sports growing up, did you?
No, I played softball, volleyball, and basketball. So
okay, I saw that.
Yeah.
So was it an easy transition? Are you just a natural athlete?
Obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, look at, remember her on the court? I mean, Brant was my first date.
Okay.
To the
Tuesday. It was actually really romantic.
He was my date to the first time going to the Arizona Pickleball League.
Okay.
And then we went to every single one following to the championship, and watching her on the court, you would have no idea that you took an entire year off and lost your muscle mass. And, so.
Oh no!
And and what are we talking? That's what, 2 years of playing pickleball, and to play at that level and be a champion. Brant, you'll have to ask her about it later, what that feels like.
Yeah, I know what it feels like. You don't.
Well, I was emotional, let's put it that way, okay?
Yeah, you're going to come at me dressed as a forest fire right now? Come on.
It's a creamsicle, okay?
Yeah, I've got...
What creamsicle has a yellow...
A delicious one, an absolutely delicious one.
You are a moldy creamsicle. Yeah, one of my favorite quotes from actually watching you over at the Orchard is the pregame commercials where everyone's like, oh, tell us a little bit about yourself or your play style. Yeah. I don't really know, but you're like, my play style is I want to get the point done as fast as possible.
Yeah. Basically, yes.
So tell me, is that like, are you an offensive-minded person then? Okay.
Yeah. Like, I would rather, shoot my shot and get burned a couple times, but you never know what's going to happen. So, like, if you don't test, your opponents and kind of see, like, are they ready or are they expecting this shot, or was it such an off-the-cuff shot that it caught them by surprise, then you're kind of, like, feeding into their ego of their comfortability level. So I'd rather make them a little uncomfortable than kind of play traditionally. Plus, like, there is no rules in pickleball. It's such a new sport. Like, people can try to tell me differently. No way.
Oh, I mean, people create things literally all the time. I saw Rafa Hewitt just like run up when somebody was doing an ATP and then just block the ATP, which I've never seen that happen before. But I feel like people are just constantly strategizing.
Yeah.
And now, I mean, there's just so many more people playing the game. You're just learning different things that was never there in the past.
Right.
So exciting announcements this week that I want to talk about because these are relative to her. So we've hit on, and we're going to get into more of that. But Arizona Pickleball League is when I really, I love pickleball. That's why I started manufacturing some paddles. I fell in love from the first time I played it. But when I really said I want to do more with this was my first time going to the Tuesday night pickleball.
Yeah.
And as of this week, this is the first time that we'll hear it, is Proton is now the official sponsor of Tuesday Night Pickleball.
Oh, that's so exciting. That is so exciting.
I don't care at all.
Oh, yeah, you do. Okay. But, we're really excited about teaming up with Patrick and Ashley. They're awesome. And to be a part of something that's growing so cool. So I'm excited to be a part of that tremendously. We have some other cool signings and players that we've brought into the Proton family as well. Can't say those yet, though, but that's exciting stuff. But it takes me back to I really enjoyed watching you play.
Oh,
I really enjoyed you and Michael were my two favorite players out there.
Oh,
and I remember I want to talk about that championship night, and then we'll get into how you're going to Seattle and the other cool things that you're doing. But how impressive is that, Brant, that she's this new to the game? She just basically physically recovered from organ failure, and she's already playing at this level. I see a lot of future upside there. No, you don't know what athleticism looks like.
Yeah, no, I don't. It's absolutely incredible. And to me, it's just, I'm curious, when did you decide? Was it just you fell in love immediately with the game, or when did you decide, oh, I'm like kind of a baller at this?
So I think
let's start competing.
Every person that starts to go to open play you have a moment where you beat everyone at open play and you're like, oh, I'm going to become a professional at this. I'm so good. And then you go into your first tournament and you get absolutely destroyed. And then you realize I can be better. And then the minute that happens, it becomes an obsession. And then you're like, I can be the best player I can possibly be. And I think the drive, it's like such a mental game. It's such a physical game that there's so many aspects you can always work on. You can always be learning. Like, it's not just, a physical sport. There's so much more to it. So I think that's why it appeals. Like, I love it so much is I can watch film. I can be flying, watching film and learning and getting better. So I don't always have to just be on the court.
So true.
Yeah. So that's when you get to the point where, hey, I'm going to put pickleball in my IG bio.
Yes.
Why is that? That is a serious question. Why is that? I think everybody who plays pickleball, even recreation, I'm surprised you don't have it yet. They put their name and then PB next to it.
What's for pickleball?
Well,
for
I don't
pickleball.
have a PB, but Althoff Merchant called me and he's like, so if you actually want to take this seriously, you better put it in your bio. I'm like, okay.
Oh, he seems like a feisty guy. I watched him play this weekend. He was talking
So whatever that man tells me, I do it. How about that? Like, he is just, I think he has the right mindset that you need to be a professional pickleball player. So I like to take his advice seriously. So that's why it's in my bio now.
Is he an AZ guy or?
No, he lives in the Midwest somewhere, kind of like in the middle of nowhere. No, but I think like I've just met him at a couple tournaments throughout last year, and I just really like him as a person. So we just like jived on our professional level too, both of us having outside jobs that we can't be full-time pickleball players, that it kind of, there's a little kismet there between us, and we can talk about hating our jobs sometimes and like pickleball being the relief that we needed. So pickleball for me gets to be purely fun, and for other people it's their full-time everything. So
is that how it is with a general sense with the players? Like, is it a very tight-knit community professionally, or is it cliquey? Like,
oh, yeah. So, like, the movie Mean Girls? Yeah, that's like the lunch tables. That is professional pickleball, without a doubt.
Yeah, I feel like I can see that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so the whole social aspect of pickleball can be very like mentally draining because, you question yourself, you question if you fit in, if people like you. And then if that starts to take over your brain space, you forget to like go perform, because that's the only way you're going to gain respect from professional players is if you beat them or you play your heart out and they can see that you're progressing. Besides that, like all the other stuff, all the other fluff stuff doesn't truly matter. But I think a lot of up-and-coming players, such as myself even last year, I got caught up in all of it too. And it takes you down a road where you kind of lose yourself, and then you can't perform when you're not your best self. So, yeah.
So, similar story that we've heard from each of the guests that have come on where they're playing the game and they're like, I'm great at this. Like, I am awesome. I felt that too, right? Playing at my indoor at my place, right? I'm like, I am amazing. Yeah. And then I go out there. But there's been a common thing with every single person that's been on was that first defeat to someone that was 65 or older. It was?
Oh, yeah.
It was. Isn't that wild? We go out, it's every person. Remember Fear the Pickle guys? They go out there, they think they're the greatest, and the guy with the cane. There's such bullshit, but this guy with the cane. So, yeah, isn't that, that's a wild deal.
Oh, those Gilbert ladies in the morning.
Tough.
Man, they loved me to death. I was just like, how are these lobs so perfect? Like, come on. And it makes you realize, like, again, it's not all physical. It has to be mental. Yeah. So they're like, well, she's going to hit it harder than me, but I can hit it over her head. So
this is why I love this sport so much.
Right.
There's no expiration to it.
No.
I love going out there and playing. And what a blessing. I hope that when I am lucky enough, when I'm 65, 70, 75, even 80, still playing this, then that's a blessing.
With your little proton cane?
Yeah, with a little proton cane.
Not even that. Like, you set yourself up for, like, I'm going to retire and I'm going to play pickleball.
It's
like,
great.
I have nothing to worry about now. Like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, bring on the retirement home. I'm going to be the champion of the retirement home.
I love that.
Okay.
I love that.
Now, do you even do rec play anymore, or do you have these like little secret groups and you play at private places?
When I first started, I had one person in particular tell me there's going to be a day when you can't do open play anymore. And I remember that day happening. And it's actually almost a sad day because you're like, I can't just go play with everyone anymore. And it makes actually just playing a lot more difficult because then you're reaching out, you're scheduling. It's not just go to the courts at 6 a.m. and
it becomes a
play.
real practice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, you have access to the orchard, which is kind of cool. So you can play there anytime with those buddies. But she's got it good. Yeah. Playing indoors, it's 197 out right now.
What do you mean? I love going out in the 120 and playing pickleball.
Hey, freak.
I'm just built different, though, dog. What's up?
Oh, okay. I'm pretty sure I haven't seen the sun in like 2 months. So
seriously. Yeah. Oh, goodness. Okay, so back to Arizona Pickleball League. That's where I fell in love. I know that you're a fan favorite there.
Thank you.
We make a point to bring up Scott. We call him Dill Patrick.
Okay.
Why are we talking about Scott?
Because we make it a point to bring up Scott every episode. Let's see how long we can carry this. But this pertains to Monica. So I didn't know much about it. I'd been to a couple of the matches. It's the championship. It's right. And I'm asking to Scott, I said, who's your favorite? He goes, it comes down to one person. And he said, you. He goes, it comes down to Monica. If she plays and comes to play, they're going to win. And sure as shit. Well, you were the MVP, right? Might as well be. Maybe it was just in my mind.
For the finals, so for the game.
Yeah, that's right. For that, yeah. So that's the exact moment we're talking about, right?
Okay,
prior to the match starting.
Okay.
It was about if she comes through, they will win. And you came through. It was awesome.
Yeah.
Can we talk quickly about that night? Because I'm sure it was a special experience for you. It was for me, my kids. Brant was there.
Yeah, you had visor issues that night.
I did, man.
Yeah, let's hear it.
One of the questions I wanted to ask was, does your
hair
hair ever get in the way? Dude, I'm an assassin when it comes to this stuff. Not really. I just can't form sentences on a podcast.
Brant can stay another week, everyone. He's going to stay around for one more week.
I have really long hair, so I went to serve and I caught a piece of my own hair and it took my visor off with it. So I missed the serve and it was a complete visor.
Well, that's always something I'm curious about because it's side to side movement, so your hair's just freaking whipping and getting smacked on both sides. I wasn't sure if that was a real issue. So.
Oh, it is, yeah. So that was the last time I just wore it in a straight pony. It had to be all the way back. So
yeah, I go there more than for just the food, Charles.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was a special experience for me. I imagine it was for you. And now you're coming back for season 3.
2.
It's season 2. God, you think I would know that? I don't.
Yeah.
As the official sponsor of the league, I would hope.
Season 2.
We're going to cut that out.
Season 1 was so great, I felt like it was 2. All right, so you come back for season 3. And then between now and then, where are you going? Where can we see you? What's your pickleball plans for the upcoming couple months?
Well, the tour to summer travel is finally done. So my job finally is calming down. So I get to go to lovely Seattle and play in the PPA Seattle.
That's awesome.
Which is exciting. I get to stay in a house with my teammates from the Scorchers. Brad, our GM, has, basically decided to take us on a boat one of the days, so that's pretty exciting. So it's more than just playing pickleball. I feel like I finally get to have a little bit of a vacation, so I'm excited about that.
So you're going out into the Sound.
Yeah.
One of the most beautiful areas in the country, for sure.
Yeah. So I think I'm ready to just have some fun.
How many tournaments do you have lined up for the
So
future?
I am not a huge tournament player, just because of my job and how physically demanding it is and how much I have to work right now. It's really hard for me to then go play a tournament. So that means if I'm flying, Monday through Thursday, I'm not home Monday through Thursday, then trying to go play a tournament out of state, it's just
well, you're
too
on
much.
Different time zones all the time. Yeah, I was either thinking you traveled a lot because of your job or the opposite, just because it's so demanding, like you said.
Yeah, so if I'm able to finagle my schedule where I can give work 2 weeks and then have 2 weeks off, then I'll play a tournament kind of thing. So it's all about how I can schedule so I can actually perform and not be like a jet lag zombie trying to play on the court, because I'm not going to do well anyway. So yeah.
In the spirit of airlines right now, this is not pickleball related at all, but I did see it on my IG today. Should a solo plane passenger have to move seats so a family can sit together? It's a hot topic right now.
Okay, good.
On IG.
I like it.
So I know that they're supposed to now not allow children under a certain age to be able to they can't book tickets not together anymore. So the only way that would happen is if they missed their flight and they were trying to just make a new one.
Yeah, they don't need love. They need better time management. Yeah.
Right. So I'm pretty sure we like tried to negate that issue because it used to be like you could buy, you know, just a random group of tickets and then have the airline put you together. But now I don't think you can do that anymore. So I'm going to say it was probably a misconnection flight. Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Back to you on that question, Brant. You're on a plane. There's a family that walks in. Are you moving so they can be together?
With the information I now know, absolutely not.
Oh, wow.
Look at your watch, bro. Get there on time.
Wow.
Kid threw up before. I don't care.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're going to stay put and separate the family.
No, I'd definitely move. Yeah.
Even if it's a middle seat, you're 6'13".
No, I would 100% move.
Okay.
On an airplane, I'm the kindest 6'6" passenger. I'm like squeezed in like a.
And I always feel so bad. Like I always try to accommodate tall people. I'm like, oh, here's a seat with a little bit extra leg room.
I always walk on my tippy toes when I'm boarding, just
to look taller.
Yeah, so for that to happen,
so that they grab you and say,
it helps so much. Yeah.
Well, like because it's like a leg ratio. Like there's no more room that you can create in certain seats. So like it's knee to back of the chair. So.
These are problems you'll never understand, Charles.
Yeah.
Next time we fly, I swear to God, I'm putting you in the smallest seat.
You already do. You make me stand a comfort in.
I already have to sit in the smallest seat.
Oh, that's
so
true.
I win that one.
Was that's a jump seat?
Uh-huh.
All right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the worst seat. Okay, we can go back to pickleball.
Okay.
One of the things I'm curious about, obviously being a female in the sport, how does the dynamic change when you're doubles with, if it does change, if you're doubles with a female partner to a male partner, as far as like on-court strategy, as far as, okay, how do I communicate with this player? Is the dialogue different?
Yeah. So I will say that's the biggest probably like problem in pickleball, that you can have two amazing players, absolutely dynamite players. You put them together, they are terrible together. Yeah. And you're just like, I don't understand. And it's purely communication, like style, and just way of even saying certain things. So some people like thrive off of like positivity. Some people like to be super aggressive on the court, even like with how, they cheer. And if you have a partner that doesn't feed off that very well, it just causes like, a bad marriage, if you want to put it as
toxic.
Yeah, it is. It just does. I mean, I think everyone's experienced it. And then there's also that level of respect that needs to be there. So sometimes if there's not just like that basic level of respect for your partner, you can feel it as the other player. So, I think it's all about communication, and you have to like be like, hey, this is my style. This is what I like. If you don't paddle tap me, I'm going to think, you're mad at me. So I don't care if you just hit the worst shot into the net, you're going to turn around and paddle tap me. Like that's the kind of player I am.
Yeah.
So that we can always like reset and be like, next point, let's go. Some people don't ever want to even like speak to their partner on the court at all. So, yeah.
So you look for the constant encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's encouragement. I think it's more togetherness, because like at the end of the day, we are a team out there. So, if I touch 12 balls or 24 balls, like if I'm the female in the mixed, doubles scenario, I know I'm not going to touch as many balls as I would playing women's, but I'm still going to be there to support my partner, and I'm going to set them up as much as I can. So, if there's not that communication, or like if I don't trust my male partner to be there, then sometimes just things don't go very well.
Look at just even watching this last weekend, or turn on any weekend, how many times do you see when a bad shot is done or something that should have been played, the other partner going like, come on, you should have had that, right? I would have had that. Like
the whole eye roll.
Yeah, like I would have had that. I'm in disbelief that you didn't get that, right? Almost like it's their fault that they lost that point.
Yeah.
That's a bad marriage.
Yeah.
That's a bad marriage, right? So you see that as recently as this weekend at the highest level.
Time for a therapist.
Yeah, I do know about bad marriages, Brant.
Oh my God.
That's another podcast.
Different podcast. We have so many to do now. Okay.
So we'll get that on the airline marriage therapy podcast. Yeah. But I've watched it as recently as this weekend. I cannot believe that it occurs. But you played softball as well, and I've got some championship rings in softball. But if you have a great third baseman next to a great shortstop, they will almost miscommunicate and both miss the ball because they're either both going for it or they're thinking the other one's got it. There has to be some sort of chemistry. And it's even more so being on that small court together, determining which shot. The ones that play the best are literally the one that knows their zone. Right.
Yeah.
So a lot of players will just defer almost every shot. Like you got that, and they know their spot. And then they always are tapping and patting each other on the back. So chemistry is probably, as Monica just said, huge in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, one of the questions I have is, it seems like maybe not so much in the PPA or MLP, but as far as like the Arizona Pickleball League, when it's women's doubles, it seems like kind of stay on your side of the court 50-50, and then when the men come into the mix, it's like, okay,
90.
they do 90% of the work, you guys do 10. Does that get frustrating, or is that just how the game is?
So I think most players don't realize if the male was not to take a ball, every single ball would come to me. Like every single ball. Like
Good
you will
point.
get targeted to the point you're like, for the love of God, come over here and take this ball. Like I just want to reset my feet.
Yeah.
So there's like, it's almost like a dance. Like it's like, I'll take this one, but you got to come take this one so then I can reset and we can move together. So it's almost needed, if that makes sense.
No, that's refreshing to hear. Because
Yeah.
I always thought it was kind of a dick move. And
No.
like, oh, well, she could have gotten that. Or
I could have,
Yeah.
but I'm also then just going to get it over when he can come over and
Make a good
set
shot,
his
yeah.
feet up and take a good shot. So you have to look at it from the other player's perspective. If you know you're not getting targeted, you have so much freedom. So you have freedom to create, you have freedom to full offense, you have freedom to move. You don't have to be the rock. So if you're not helping the partner getting targeted, you're almost not doing your job.
And that actually
like
goes
that,
beyond
yeah.
just the men's game, Brant. I was watching last weekend too. I've seen it a couple times, like the Kawamoto sisters.
Yep.
Okay, there's one that
Jade
gets
and
targeted
Jackie.
every single time, and she will cross over and help. And then what I've seen happen is they keep going back to one. Even Anna Lee, right? She will break into the other court on some. She comes over here, it makes them go the other direction, which then changes their whole game plan. And I've seen a lot of. So I think it's beyond just the men's game.
Yeah. It's the freedom to roam.
Yeah.
That player has to kind of create the offense or has to step in and do something, or it's going to be the same pattern over and over again because they're just going to dink to this left foot and every time we're going to win. Well, okay, if I know my partner's, weakness, they're going to know their weakness too. So then I have to shield that weakness from ever happening. That makes sense.
Those are great points.
Yeah.
Now, one of the other questions I have for you, do you have any weird habits or superstitions that you do?
So everyone loves to make fun of me. So I have this whole getting ready routine before I step on the court. So
Kind of like before the podcast.
Yeah, pre-podcast
correct.
as well
Yes.
too. I like that.
So I gotta put on my chapstick. I gotta put on my wristbands. I gotta check my hair. So yes, I'm definitely a girly girl in that sense. So every new person would be like, God, why does it take you 5 minutes to just step on the court? I'm like, gotta retie my tennis shoes. So I definitely have a little ritual that I like to do. It's almost like, the Monica reset, okay, we're good. So that's how I operate.
Why the number 33?
So I was always number 3 in every sport I played, and that number was already taken. So I actually did a little bit of research on numerology too, and number 33 is a master number. So I was
is that a science? Numerology?
Yeah, who knows? It's just astrology, something different. So number 33 is a master number. So I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna not be able to be number 3. I'm gonna be a power number. So that's why I'm number 33.
Are you actually into astrology or not?
Not really, no.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, honestly,
I didn't
there
know
are
if you determined your
characteristics.
partners by oh no, they're a Leo, I can't play with them.
maybe in my personal life, but not so much on the pickleball court. No, honestly, for me, my partners, they just better have fun. If we cannot laugh or crack a joke, what are we doing on this court right
some
now?
people take it way too seriously.
The fun ones win.
And it's you're not helping anyone out. You're just making a toxic environment. It's
Right.
like playing with Charles. I don't.
I think the scariest is watching the paddle thigh slappers. where like they have a black and blue mark from slapping the side of their thigh so violently over and over again when they make mistakes. Have you seen those players before?
Oh, the mistake ones are the ones, like I was sending you videos of the mistake ones. It's like, okay, short memory, move on, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not going to lie. Watching Rafa Hewitt might be the most annoying thing in my life. I don't know if you know him personally, but just, I mean, watching him this weekend, you could hear him over the announcing speakers the whole time, just talking smack. Are you a smack talker when you play?
No. I mean,
just like happy, like, oh, we're going to win.
Yeah, because you know what? How it is annoying for my opponents, and I know it is, because if you're just like a good, happy person on that court,
they hate it.
Yeah. Get a rise, trying to get a rise out of it. Yeah.
They do. And you know what? It's actually more fun to play that way, honestly, because, you know, you can always you can hate on someone that's being a little cocky, right? You can't hate on the nice person.
No.
Like, what are you going to do?
And you'll aggravate them with the niceness. That's how I beat the shit out of you, is just by continuing to
You've literally never beat me.
Yeah. But I do have a rule. I do not ever tell anyone like good shot on if I'm like, especially in a tournament setting, like, okay, rec's one thing, but that even annoys me. I'm like, don't tell me nice shot right now. Like, you're my opponent.
That's right. Yeah.
Like,
oh my God, I didn't mean to hit you. Like, I'm trying to, that's the thing that bothers me the most. I think about pickleball, other than pickleball gloves. I want to hear your thoughts on that in a second. But when somebody hits you, I hate when they're like, oh my God, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Like, you're playing a game and you're trying to score. Like,
right.
No conversation should ever cross the net, positive
God,
or
I'm
taunting.
So sorry.
Yeah.
No, take that.
Yeah.
I hope you get a welt, dog.
All right, what's this about pickleball gloves?
Oh yeah,
like golf, like batting gloves for pickleball.
They make pickleball gloves. They look like weightlifting gloves.
Oh, little half finger
Yeah.
gloves. Do you use pickleball gloves?
No.
Yeah, and you're never going to?
No.
Probably not, no.
Does the wristband help, or is it for swag?
It does, actually. So.
Or is it for swag?
No, I think, well, honestly, and I think that was a mental thing, to be quite honest.
Oh, you have to do it? Yeah, no, I feel that.
So I was playing down in Florida, and it was just beyond hot, and it was so humid, and my hand was just like a pool of sweat. So someone gave me a wristband, and I put on a wristband, and, you know, I wasn't sweating as much, but now I can't play without one. So it's almost like the curse of the wristband.
I get weird like that, too.
Brant, I'm impressed with the homework that you've been doing. You know that her number.
When you give me more than an hour notice, he always texts me an hour before, hey, this is our guest this week. And I'm like, dude, well, let me do some research.
Yeah.
I don't have a personal life.
Neither do I, so it's okay.
Yeah. So that's all of us.
Yeah.
How often of your time is spent traveling and playing pickleball? Like, I mean, how often do you just practice at these new cities when you have layovers?
Yeah. I'll do that. Or
so you have a giant network.
Yeah. Or I do Phoenix layovers because I'm based in Philadelphia. So I'll be home for like 14 hours, and I'll go work out and play and then fly again. So.
That's awesome.
Wait, you're based in Philly?
Yeah. So I have to fly to work. Yeah.
Wait, I went to a school called Big Walnut, so bear with me. Wait, so do you live here?
Yes. I live here.
But you're just based in Philly.
Okay. Yeah, so I like start and end my trips in Philadelphia. So it works out, though, because I get to have Phoenix layovers, so they can pay me for my time at home.
That is, do you enjoy, like, I just feel like being a flight attendant in the last 3 years has been one of the most wild jobs I can imagine. Do you have any crazy flight attendant stories?
Like what day? So
wait, do you work for Southwest?
No,
I don't. Thank God. I hate Southwest. If you're listening to this, give me my points.
I just want to do like a PSA announcement, like, please drink water before you fly, or like, please eat before you fly. Like, the amount of people that pass out that we have to give medical attention to is absolutely insane. And it's usually from
low blood sugar.
Yes. Yeah. And then
I had to ask you, do you eat during a game?
Not really.
Dude, I see people just smacking on food, like drinking Coke, eating Twizzlers.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think now my like mental anxiety during games has gotten better, so I can see myself like now being able to like eat, but usually
before it's just hyper focus.
Yeah. Like so much anxiety that like there's nothing else going inside me but Red Bull and water. So
I've never been able to eat while playing. Did you ever eat while playing?
Oh, I smacked food at halftime.
Really?
Yeah.
I guess being on the bench is a little bit different.
Then I threw up in the third quarter. I was first team All MAC, Mid-American Conference.
And that's what you would eat. And that's and then you would eat at halftime.
Was in the NFL for 3 months. What?
And you would eat at halftime.
Yeah, we would have Uncrustables and bananas.
Okay.
And granola mix.
Yeah.
I do like eating bananas during matches, just because it's like easy and actually like is good for you.
What about Jigsaw Health?
I was just going to ask
pickleball elixir.
I mean, I love me some pickleball cocktail.
Yeah,
so that's my favorite.
Yep. Good electrolytes.
Shout out to Jigsaw Health.
Always,
man.
Love them.
I love that, dude. We just do commercials left and right when we.
We do.
Yeah. Viore. Do you remember when Chad and Nick were on?
Yeah, they did give a shout out to some.
Oh, it was 10
company.
minutes of shout outs to different brands. Gearbox.
I own a brand and I don't even shout it out. Or was that a shout out?
Who knows?
All right, what else you got on there?
Let me do a little look ski.
Okay.
Some of these questions are stupid. I'm not gonna lie. Dun dun dun. Oh, what's the weirdest song that gets you hyped up? Like personally, "Love Story" by Taylor Swift. I will run through a brick wall.
Really? Oh my God. Let me think. There's so many.
Or what kind of genre do you listen to?
2000s all the way.
2000s.
Like 2000s rap, 2000 like
No,
what-
pop, like 2000s pop.
Okay.
Okay, but also T-Pain. Like I love T-Pain so much. Yeah, so T-Pain definitely get me hyped. Or Britney Spears. So a good mashup, that's always going to win. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, for football, it's just interesting, the mindset, and I don't really understand it. Like, when I play pickleball, I want to win, but it's hard for me to get competitive. Like, football, I'm facing another dude, and it's very physical, and it's like, okay, I have to physically beat my opponent.
Right.
With pickleball, it's like, okay, well, there's strategy and this.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to get in a killer mindset because it's like there's an art to it.
Yeah. I think you have to break it down by points, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the curse of getting to 8. That happens to a lot of players where
I've never heard this.
They can never finish, right? So they can, basically be like 8-1 on an opponent, and then they just cannot finish the game. And then the game ends. They'll still win maybe, or they lose, which is even worse because they just could not finish those last 2 points.
I think I'm cursed by 8. I think I have that curse. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm always up and then can't close in the end.
Is that in your personal life
now
too?
here we go.
Yeah.
I knew there was some. We're trying to talk honestly about this game. Of course, it has to be some personal jab there, but
Yeah.
I think that I know exactly what you're talking about. I think I bear witness to this too. Come out strong, and then when it matters, disappear.
Yeah, and that's because you had the killer mindset, and then you got lazy.
Yep, that's
and
what
you got
right.
mentally lazy and didn't realize it, because then you're like, oh, we're up so much, whatever, I'll try this stupid shot, or meh, it's okay. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, it's 9-8. Like, what just happened? Like,
and then the momentum is gone. And it's too late to pick it back up.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you almost have to have like a very dull killer mindset.
Yeah.
Be like, I have to get to 11 first. End of story. Any way I can. And then that's it. Tap paddles and be like, thank you for your time. Goodbye.
Yeah.
So
what's the story behind the Beach Boys towel that you carry? Every pickleball photo I saw had you with that towel. Is there a
so
funny
his
story
name's
behind
Dan. He they're based out of Florida, and he just makes the most beautiful handmade jewelry. So
handmade pickleball jewelry?
Yeah.
But what?
I don't have it on today. That's so bad. Oh my God. I feel so bad.
You do not care about them. Wait, what is that? Just like a little X?
No, it's like a little.
Finger?
He makes necklaces. So they're like little pickleball necklaces.
Oh, that is cute.
So they're good company, great people.
Have to check that out.
They're in Naples.
Good gifts. Good. I mean, people are absolutely obsessed with anything pickleball. That's a great gift.
Yeah.
I need to
Speaking of
put
gifts,
that
I think you've owned me a
birthday
birthday
gift.
present for 2 months now.
Yep. And
Somewhere
we'll
around
get it
that.
at some point before the next one.
Yeah.
What is your favorite scoring system in pickleball?
Oh man, I don't know yet. I haven't decided. It's a tough one.
Because there are multiple different ways. I know Arizona Pickleball League they had a certain format that we're moving away from, and then MLP is different than PPA is.
So I was in middle school into high school I was part of the volleyball transition from regular scoring to rally scoring. And I will say after I think like a year, no one could have told you how to keep like the old scoring method. So rally scoring just became so normal that everyone forgot how to play the other way. So I think it's like whatever is going to be the universal system, once it's in place, everyone's going to forget about the other way. Yeah. And I think rally scoring, there's so much more opportunity to kind of create, kind of maybe possibly win. In traditional scoring, if a team's better than you, it's really hard to beat them, like at the end of the day. Like it just really is. Yeah. They're going to beat you like usually 11-2 over and over again. And there's no way around it because unless they make errors, they're just going to railroad through you.
Yeah. Are you happy with what you see from these tours and where they're progressing, or is there anything in particular you would like to see at the professional level?
So like for me personally, I think it's more pickleball is growing at such a fast rate, and social media is doing a great job, but it's also creating a very fake facade on truly what sponsors and ambassadors mean, if that makes sense.
It's like CrossFit. It's the most annoying thing.
Yeah.
It's like the IG bio thing for me. It's like, okay, we get it. You do CrossFit, you play pickleball. Like, I totally agree. It's just creating this fake feeling about the sport.
Right. Or the amount of money any of us are actually making, if that makes sense. So companies love to like be like, here's an ambassador package. Ambassador package means absolutely nothing. All it means for you is that you need to post twice a month.
I know how that feels.
Does that make sense? So like, you can say you're an ambassador of these 12 companies, but you're not making any money from them.
Yeah, you're just getting free product.
Correct, which is amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like that's right. Great.
You get great fucking hotels, Brant. You get lavish shit. Yeah. You get so much more than just free equipment. You got that badass hotel in San Clemente. You get Southwest middle seats. No.
Yeah, but
oh, I love you, Charles.
So if we're talking about like a professional sport, I just, there's really not that much money going around. So.
Well, it creates that allure that there is though. And that's what I wanted to ask. As far as like traveling for you, you mentioned, okay, you have this guy putting up a house for your former team or your current team, whatever.
That's purely for the love of the sport and the team and the players.
Yes.
There's a lot of that's individual contributing.
Yeah, but that's all coming out of your pocket, right? When you travel to these tournaments.
Yes.
And for the majority of players, it's coming out of their pocket.
Almost all of them.
Yeah. That's
and it's a very huge misconception throughout the pickleball world.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people know that.
Well, there's a glamour front that's put up, right?
Yeah.
And I'm a pro, right? Everyone has that. I'm a pro pickleball player.
Well, we realized you could just like sign up and say, "Yo, I'm a pro."
Well, it makes
Isn't that what Chad and Nick said?
Hearing this makes me question everything I've just done over the past 2 weeks. Maybe these players weren't getting $500,000 a year. No, but that's how it is in a lot of emerging sports, right? Especially one that's truly has captured the attention of so many so quickly.
Right.
They're on stage in front of a lot. Yeah. Now we're getting this stuff televised.
Right.
I mean, even at the Arizona Pickleball League, which is local in front of local fans, if you're on the court, you're somebody in front of these individuals. I bet you if we were to ask the people that were there, they would think everyone on the court was making hundreds of thousands of dollars, even just here locally. And that's I think that's a misconception of just athletics in general, right? That there's a lot of money if you're a professional athlete, if you're performing on a court in front of a stage on television, then you're getting paid.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I mean, when I was playing football, because I was with the Cardinals and the Chargers briefly, I mean, everyone just assumed, oh man, that guy's got his bag. Like, no, I don't. Like, I'm at the lowest tier of the NFL. Right. Like the first meeting I ever had in the NFL was, this means not for long. And it definitely applied to me.
But I'm sure that you get that as well, what she's referring to. And so then if that's the belief, then it's easy to portray that that's what's occurring. And I'm sure a lot of these players on the court are giving off the vibe that there's some high-powered, high-paid pickleball star celebrity talent.
Well, and it puts the players in a weird position because do you want to just outright say, oh no, like I don't make anything, because that can be embarrassing to yourself. Or so it's just like,
I will say it without I'll say it openly. Like,
but
I'm okay with it.
There's something healthy about that, though, in regards to growing it and creating the allure, right? It's almost the fake it till you make it type deal, that we have something that it's exploding quickly. So let's continue to, the fans are drawn to that. People are drawn to that in high level athleticism. So let them continue to have that spotlight, do with it what they will. But I think that it also is impacting the attitude of a lot of these players.
Yeah.
I've seen some dicks on the court. Sorry, but we've seen some people that are behaving as though they are, Steph Curry, or because he wouldn't even behave that way.
That's being created by the social hierarchy that is among professional pickleball players, and that is tough. I will say, when money does talk, and if you don't have money, you can't talk. If that makes sense. So, like, the players that are more well off have an easier time entering the pro pickleball world, because everything's just easier. They can go to every single tournament without any problem. Like, they'll be there. Don't worry. They'll play 4 tournaments a month, and no questions asked.
No stresses on how to get there. No stresses on having to, get all the work in so that they can pay to do it. Yeah, that is. I think that we're going to see more and more of that, because the more people that watch this, the more eyeballs that are on it, that is revenue. Eyeballs are revenue, and the more people that watch, I think there's going to be more and more money that comes into the game. But that's an interesting point that you bring up there.
Yeah, I just don't want us to not get taken care of. I think that's the scary part, is like, if it keeps growing, our company is going to get really good at creating ambassador programs where they're going to have all these players sign weirdly contracts for 3 to 5 years with no money on the table, but then you're actually part of their team and you can't go anywhere else. Like, that's a scary thing to think about. So
I encounter that a lot in softball too. It's basically, let's just get whoever we can sign. Find out who the ones are that are good, that actually do something, right? It's no risk to the business. They give them some paddles, they give them something, and they say, let's just sign everyone, and then we'll see who actually does something. And the ones that don't, they have them under contract. But the contracts are bullshit, right? I mean, you can get someone out of any one of these contracts because, especially if there's no financial component, right? So. But I see why, because we don't know which ones are going to become great. I don't do business that way, right? That's not the way that we do it. We are carefully selective, and we want certain, character traits and good individuals. And I believe that people should be compensated if they're bringing value to the business, as opposed to just trying to determine who that is by, broad brush strokes, which is But it's also giving those people like, hey, I'm a sponsored ambassador player, and I'm getting nothing but paddles like you. You get.
That's a sore subject. Honestly, I just kind of have one more question than anything else you would like to talk about. Cool. But any underrated or most underrated tip you've ever gotten in regards to pickleball, or a tip you just want to give to the listeners about something that's overlooked?
You have to have a confidence in yourself. So you have to be okay with who you are. If you want to play pickleball. So there's going to be generational gaps. There's going to be personality gaps. There's going to be, different views on different things and outside life. And you have to remember, the common goal between all players is they love pickleball as much as you do. And you have to be confident in who you are and what you care about, and just go play. Because I think, especially in the realm of the female world, a lot of us only make it to a certain point and then are afraid to go take that next step, because we're afraid to go ask the better players, hey, can I play with you? Because that's rejection, right? Getting turned down is scary, but you have to have this innate confidence in yourself to be like, I'm going to go say, hey, you want to play with me? And if they say no, too bad, I'm going to move on to someone else. So I think that's the only way the sport's going to grow, is if we keep having that inner confidence in ourselves and keep bringing it to the courts. So, ask anyone. Like, I went to open play by myself, all by myself. Walked up there, hey guys, can I join?
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah.
It's so scary.
So, I think the players that make it are the players that are not afraid to go ask. And I think there's a lot of people that are like, well, I won't go if someone else doesn't go. well, that's not how pickleball works. You can go to open play by yourself and make 12 new friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be my advice.
If you could, on that note, if you could play this weekend with any, first we'll start with male player, who would you want as your partner of any of the pros?
Of any of the pros. God, that's a tough one.
This could be based on talent or looks.
You don't date pickleball players. That's not the way to do life.
You want to go.
Have we tried?
Especially the ambassadors.
Yeah.
If you want to go out there and win this weekend, who's your male?
You know what? I'm just gonna say Pesa because I love love him. Man.
We got to get Pesa on.
Pesa.
Or is it Pesa?
It's Pesa.
Pesa.
Yeah.
He's definitely on the list. We'll get Pesa.
I want to Pesa him on this podcast.
Yeah.
Pesa just won with Diescu down in where was that? Newport.
Oh yeah,
Newport a couple weekends ago.
But
that was fun to watch.
I loved playing with him on the Scorchers, but also I love that he has like such a pure heart. Like he is the nicest person ever.
His growth, he's somebody who keeps coming up on here too.
He does.
I mean,
he's
just
up
gotten better and better, and he seems like the most genuine person. Like when you can see when he's doing interviews, he's just like, kind of shy.
Finally now getting that inner confidence.
Yeah.
Where like he had all these people believe in him. And I think finally he's believing in himself.
Yeah.
And that's the big jump change that like we of like all of our, our friend group here really see. And we're like, finally, like he is making it happen for himself because he believes in himself.
There's no doubt that the talent is there.
Yeah.
100% he's talented, right?
Oh, yeah.
And we've seen, it's like the tale of two players. We've seen once he gets comfortable, he's as good as anyone out there. Right? And so I've seen that. And he was lights out at the...
and I love making him laugh, so it's fun.
All right, female player. You're going to go out and play this weekend. Who would you want as your female player?
Oh, man. Honestly, I would say Simone because... why not? Like, I would soak up every single word that came out of her mouth.
I love it.
Oh, she's a guru.
Keep it in the head bank for eternity. And I think I would get the most knowledge and like best skill upgrade if I was to play with her.
Awesome. She got drafted in the ML. Okay, that's what I thought. Well, it was funny because she retired or was going to retire last year. And I was like, oh, no, I'm still going to be.
Yeah, so her pickleball think tank is bigger than anyone's. And she's created a bunch of the new players that have kind of really emerged.
Wow, that's awesome. She's a guru.
She's a guru.
She's a Yoda.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I would love like an hour with a woman. Wow, that would just like be life changing. So I'm gonna say her. So yeah.
You love this stuff. I love that.
I love it. Yeah.
Okay, so then that's the next question. Then on that note, you get a knock on your door, and it's the board of the airline that you work for, and they say, Monica, you can be CEO of the airline, and you're gonna get all of this money. And or someone comes to you, knocks on your door, and say you can be a professional pickleball player and not have to work, and this is all you do. But it is 1/10 of the money. Which way do you go?
Pickleball all the way.
Yep. No way.
Yeah.
Over CEO of Boop Boop Airlines.
Yep, without a doubt. Yeah.
I mean, you still have a great living, but you could run the airline, or you can just travel and play pickleball. I love that answer. So you would just chase. That's all you want to do is just chase the dollars. Brant.
No, I would make the money and then start a league or something crazy. I'd find the loopholes around it. Wow. That's
like
love for the game, though. That's why you're as good as you are. That's a love for the game.
You haven't hit the obsession.
I was going twice a day, like 3 times a day.
Okay.
I did.
Okay.
I'm just not athletic, and then honestly, the mental side of it's where I struggle because I can only lose so many times, except Charles. But like every other person I play,
ridiculous.
I lose, and it takes its toll. Like you said, you have to be confident out on the court, and sometimes like I'm able to get in that state of flow. Or I'm like, okay, I'm actually like, decent at this sport.
Yeah.
Half the time, I'm either like just dicking around on the court, or I'm in my head too much. Like I have imposter syndrome, kind of like me doing this podcast.
Brant is the one that would rather play with someone worse than him than play with someone better with him.
Oh, what's your thoughts on that?
I still like that question. I already know her answer. I know her answer.
Someone better all the way.
Come on, Brant. She's a champion.
What was my answer? Yeah,
you want to play with
the
worst possible, so that you don't feel bad that they think that you're bringing the team down. I mean, that's just
like honestly,
so
there's
so embarrassing.
When you get like the text message or when you get the DM, like when someone slides in your DM and is like, "Hey, you want to play a tournament?" Like, you know, that's what most of us like up and coming girls are all waiting for. Like, if one of the big guys asked us, like, yes, when, where, how, like, I'll be there.
Oh, when you reached out for the podcast, I was like, let's go. We're like,
yeah.
Okay, so also you just said something that I thought was your line. The slide in the DM, that's not a Brant original?
No, that's just a 21st century thing.
Okay. Well, I did not know that was.
Look at the internet.
Yeah.
Really, I think that's kind of all I have wrapped up. I was going to ask if there's any particular sunscreen you wore before playing, but I that was kind of just like that was just like a low hanging fruit joke.
Like SPF like 100.
Yeah, I mean that that's really all I had. Is there anything else you want to add, or Charles?
No, thank you so much. I'm excited to watch you play.
We're at the hour mark, so
okay.
Yeah. You helped me fall in love with the game. And
so
I had
awesome.
such a blast with
that was the cutest thing ever.
Well, that's gonna make me cry.
That's gonna make me cry.
That's all I want is like to show my passion to like other people feel it. You know, I want them to like experience what this game's given me. You know what I mean? So
you were so locked in for that championship. Like I said before, you're my kid's favorite player, mostly because my son has the exact same hair color as you. They were your biggest fans.
They
out
were.
There. Yeah, they're in Costa Rica right now, but I can't wait to tell them that we had you on the podcast.
Oh, awesome.
But for me as well, like I didn't know what I was walking into the first time that we went to that, and that's why I'm so honored to be heavily involved for this season, right?
Yeah.
I went as I took as much as we could possibly take to help sponsor and get involved with that. I love it. I love where that's going. It's still more. I enjoyed that experience more just because of the intimate feeling of it.
I love it because my family and friends can come watch me.
It's awesome.
And like it's the first time where people that maybe don't know exactly what pickleball is can go sit at such a beautiful venue and like fall in love with it too.
They have a blast.
Yeah.
Genuinely,
and that's
like
exciting for me.
It's so cool. And so I'm excited about the upcoming season. But yeah, I mean that it's special. And Michael as well. You know him. I love how he plays. His heart is so much into that.
Yeah.
And it's fun to watch. So I'm excited that
Me too.
we get to be a part of that this coming season. Yeah. And that is a better way to end than what's your fucking favorite sunscreen?
I said it was
guys,
the
we're going to have a new host.
It was the last question on the list.
Only if I was sponsored by one. Darn.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a sunscreen ambassador.
After this podcast airs, you will be.
Perfect.
I do not. On that. So true. On that note too, I always forget to wear it. I turn pink. I can't get in the sun. I turn just pink.
It was a serious question.
It's
not really.
It's a sad way to end though, Brant. Yeah, she's like,
I'm sorry.
No, but okay. So fun stuff. Thank you for coming on.
Of course.
And I love your passion and for this sport, and hopefully one day you're running pickleball and you tell the airline, "See you later." Yeah. Wouldn't that be fun?
That's the day, man. That's the day.
All right. I think that's it. Everyone, thank you for listening. This episode was brought to you by absolutely no one because we are too cool for that. Listen to us on Spotify, LimeWire, or wherever you get your music. That is all. Bye.